I should be like you, Mel.
Ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world right now watching. Welcome back to Up the Cherries in all departments and Cherry AM on this pretty nice Monday morning, to be fair. Co-host which joins me every now and then, Sean. Welcome this morning. How are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good. And we've got a fairly interesting show this morning. There's a couple of things to discuss. So we won't hold off on getting into them. Please make sure that you're liking, subscribing, and clicking the notification bell, making sure that you're following the channel as much as possible. I know there's some awesome shows coming out over the next month or so now that the league is back on Friday, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
finally.
Well, I'm saying that first game against Liverpool, I don't know if that's going to be so much.
Well, you say that Liverpool didn't have the best success yesterday in the Community Shield.
Yeah, true.
It's an interesting. It's going to be an interesting first game, I think. So, either way, however it ends, it's going to be an interesting first game.
Yeah, a few drinks will help me.
For sure, absolutely. Right, let's get the chat done as soon as possible, Sean, so then we can really crack on with the good bits. Paul, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Paul. Darren Hurst saying good morning to Paul.
Morning.
and Paul saying good morning back. Liam, good morning, everyone. Darren, fantastic news on our new signing. Shush as probably topic of the show today. It is definitely one of the topics of the show, as well as some other bits there, Darren. Excuse me. Paul, I can't believe Dango's attitude towards this club, unless, of course, he's trying to get a better contract from the club. We'll come into all of this in a moment, Paul. Bear with us. Darren, don't you dare speak like that of Dango. You'll start Sean off again. Luckily, everyone already knows you're on the show, Sean, because this morning is a bit of your segment, clearly.
Yeah, I think I've gained a bit of reputation for some reason.
It seems it, doesn't it? Chris Hubble, morning, Ollie and Sean. Morning, Chris.
Morning.
Badger in Bournemouth. Morning, mate. I know it's probably 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning there. So yeah, really appreciate you being here, Badger. Darren, Liverpool on a 2-game downward slide. First Crystal Palace, then the Cherries. Optimistic, Darren. I like it. Joe, morning, Joe. Getting very excited for Friday. Yeah, I'm not going to get into how excited I am at the moment for Friday this week. Could not go any quicker. And Friday's game against Liverpool is it's top of my list for the first start of the weekend, right? But look, let's hold all that off for now. We've got a couple of things that we want to get into first, and I know that Sean is frothing at the mouth, ready to go about this subject. So we'll get this one done first and out the way. And it is all the news surrounding Dango. Sean, Talk to us. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I've read about the Dango thing, and the main thing I just don't understand most of the comments on it. Obviously, we don't know for certain whether the player wants to leave or stuff. It's newspaper rumour, and everyone's allowed freedom of speech. They can say what they want, and that. But I just find it amazing because it's like a certain other channel made a little comment, Dango want away, and that. And you would never say that about Zabs or Dino and that. They would never say stuff like that. I saw comments online comparing to Fraser because they're saying he wants to go away. But not being funny, Fraser admitted even himself that he was starting to get lazy. He wasn't trying his best. Arguably, I would say Dango, along with Trevor, Petrovic, and Brooks, I would say was stars all pre-season. I've seen others saying he's going to go for 20, 30 million. And it's like, we paid 20 million. That's not exactly the way we do things. And you think about, what's it, Semenyo and that, because I always like compare that for Greg. If you look at a pre-season and said who's the 70 million, who's the, say, 30 million pound player, to me, Dango is way above Semenyo with that. And you got to think, this is a player that, when we needed a left back, stood in and actually done a good job for us. Our best run of results in the Premier League, he was the step-in striker, which is why, as much as I think Evan Nelson is good, I still would be perfectly happy with Dango starting up front. We had our best results run. I say probably one of the best, if not the best, for me in pre-season. So how he can be these kind of numbers and fans still comparing those low figures and names and joking about him, I don't think most players these days follow comments and stuff like that because there's a minefield out there and that. But certainly, if I was a player and if I did look at stuff like that, it is surprising how many groups of fans still seems to have a funny thing with Dango. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I can see why you'd say things like that. I'm just going to read a comment out here. Paul's pushing back slightly, but Zabs, etc., are going to very big clubs, but Brentford. If, of course, this is not proper talk, as Sean has said, yeah. How much?
I'll just say Zabs and that. If you say Zabs and that, you got guaranteed. They're guaranteed first teamers and stuff like that. So you've got to also be in Dango's position. That's what I think will be very interesting. If he starts the season, then yeah. But if he still is super sub kind of thing, who can blame any player, whether it's no matter who it is? You want to be an automatic starter, and who can blame him? Again, with the attitude some people have said in that, I don't understand it. Any player wants to be a first team player, and yeah, whether it's a Brentford, which is a Premier League club, I think it's just the amounts I couldn't believe. I saw in one newspaper now saying 10 million. I was like, we paid 20 million for him for starters, and how can you even go even 30 million? To me, I think he's at least a 50 million pound player, at least. So yeah.
Okay, no, I love the passion that you have for him. I do. I love it, and I back it as well. I don't want him to go. I don't think Brentford would be a good move. Although you're right, he would get all the minutes on the pitch. He'd get first team games every time, especially if he is a straight up replacement for Wissa. If Wissa ends up moving to Newcastle. So I can see why they'd want him, and I can see why it'd be a good fit. Do you think that the negativity and the Bournemouth fan talk is going to have an effect on him wanting to leave Bournemouth? Because it's inevitable, right? You'll hear it, even if you're not reading the comments directly, you will see and hear stuff as a footballer. It's just natural. Will that have an effect on his mentality wanting to stay here, do you think?
I think that's a completely player thing. I say some players can get booed and that they enjoyed it. Some players can't cope with the comments and stuff like that. I just don't know. That's what I'm just saying, that if he does read a lot of comments and stuff like that, it could have a slight effect on him wanting to stay or not. But I don't. When people compared the Fraser thing and that, if he's reading the comments and that, you could easily say that his performance would decline and all that. But I said, for me, he was, if not one of the strongest during pre-season. So I don't see any sign. And these comments and different things, it's not exactly a new thing. It's been for quite a while. I say it's a joke that's carried on. I don't know why it's carried on. I say I understand the beginning of the season where he was losing the ball and stuff like that. But I think his second half performance season and his pre-season, the joke's kind of gone now. But he still seems to want to carry on with certain groups of fans. So
yeah. No, I hear you, and I think a lot of there's going to be a lot of Cherries fans out there that are echoing your thoughts here. And then there's going to be the ones that, as you said, that you see on social media that end up jumping on players probably a bit too quick when things like this come out. But you're right, maybe isn't the right mentality that we should be having in any way, shape, or form, especially not against players who have stood out in the previous season. There's a couple of comments here that I do just want to touch on. Dan Short mentioned Zabit is going to PSG, ain't he? Not yet, Dan. Not yet. Nothing's confirmed yet, so hold that thought. And then Craig, good morning, everyone. Mark McAdam reporting this with regards to Dango, which is worrying, as he's always spot on. Craig goes on to say, Mark's tweet, Brentford have held initial talks with Bournemouth about signing Dango Ouattara this weekend. No agreement yet, but talks are understood to have been positive around a deal being agreed. Mark's tweet continued, Dango wants to leave AFCB and has made that clear.
Didn't Mark also say, was he one that said 10 million as well on that?
I'm not sure, Craig. If you're still there and still watching, if you could confirm any figures that were reported with Mark McAdam, that'd be amazing.
Mark is usually good with that, but if he said 10 million, I can't believe that being true. That amount. Yes.
No, I agree with that. Morning, Malcolm. I don't believe that Dango will leave, and certainly why take a step back by going to Brentford. No disrespect to Brentford. Completely agree. And almost words that came out of my mouth a couple of minutes ago. It would be a step back for him, in my opinion. And that is no disrespect to Brentford, but he would get all the minutes on the pitch. He'd get first team, and there wouldn't be any battle for that position because it'd be a straight
first team.
Yeah, so it'd be a good move for him, and it'd be a good move for Brentford technically. But I don't think it's what he wants in his career. I don't think that's the best career move. Darren. At the end of the day, all players want to be a first choice. Absolutely. The negative comments coming from which are seen as the holding the club, manager and fans to ransom for a better contract or more match minutes. I'd like to think that's not the case, that it's not a play, that it's not a kind of cat and mouse back and forth negotiation tactic. Because that's not very good for us, right? It puts the fans all on edge. It puts us all on edge. It doesn't allow any transparency for what's going on. So I hope that's not the case, but we'll see. Paul says he's definitely not a Fraser figure. Definitely not. And I think Sean agrees with me there. Ryan Fraser was completely different. Yeah, completely different situation. Completely different feeling towards the club. There was only 8 games left at that time. Some comments were made. I think Ryan Fraser's situation is very different. But agreed with you there, Paul.
Yeah, I only used them because of the performance side of it, and that was a good reference. Sure.
Badger, if he wants to go, let him go. Yeah, I do kind of agree with that. If he's of the mindset and he does actually want to leave the club, absolutely. There's no point holding players that don't want to be here or don't buy into the vision or the team that we're building. Agree with that. Tommy Parry, we bid for Giovanni Leone. Possibly, I'm not sure. I've got information about someone else, another centre-back, but we'll get to that in a moment, Tommy. Matt, he may get more minutes at Brentford, but it's a sidestep. Yeah, agreed. If it was a top 6 side, I could understand the move. Yeah, Fully agreed there, Matt. Craig, I feel sorry for Dango. Some people really don't get what he is all about. He is improving and he's a likable person. He also offers something very different, which will be hard to replace. Yeah, agreed. I think Sean feels the same way there as well about Dango. Malcolm, Sean, make a Dango Appreciation Society and take the role as chairman. You have our backing. And Darren, that is what negative people are taking it as, not me. Sorry if misunderstanding. No. Good. Completely understand, Darren. And no worries at all. All good. But look, I don't want to dwell on the fact that we might be losing a player. It's all hearsay at the moment, right? If there's anything that's been really, really strong this pre-season, it's speculation. So we know that things are going to continue to speculate, probably all the way up until the transfer deadline window. So the other bit of speculation which has come out, I think this is a tad bit more than speculation at the moment, and that is the centre-back that we are looking to sign. Now, is it as of 9 hours ago? I believe that Bafode Diakite, the Lille centre-back, is currently in Bournemouth having medicals, or in the UK at least, having his medicals ready for a transfer over to Bournemouth. He's 24, and the total fee will be in the region of 35 million, so about 34.6 that we'll be paying for him. Made 85 appearances in League One, and he's played 10 times in the Champions League last season. So coming in as a centre-back, that seems pretty solid in my thoughts. What about you there, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, only seen glimpses of him. He seems like a big fellow in that. And yeah, he looks like a good player in that, especially that price. Seems to be all we seem to be going for, 20, 30 million pound players. And hopefully making a big profit at the end of it. So, he's what we needed. I don't think he'd end up, even if we do say he's fully signed today, I'll be surprised if he starts on Friday, because getting used to the system and that. But then again, and don't he put Neto? Was Andoni put Neto in straight away? I think back then was Andoni, was it? Or was it? Yeah. So Andoni's not afraid to put new signings in pretty quick. So yeah, maybe, but yeah, I think it's a good start to the centre back positions, and then maybe just one more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree. I think just maybe one more, just for a bit of depth, that maybe can play, with his left foot somewhere in the centre back. That'd be fantastic. But at the moment, Diakite is a fantastic, solid signing. Only brings in more exposure to and experience to a player that can manage that back line, that can really take control in much higher tempo games now. So yeah, exciting times. Excuse me.
I think we could do with another right back. Really, that's the main thing. Big signing right back. I say as much as I've put Julian as my starter in my team, and that, yeah, it is naivety and still showing in that. Though to be fair, the last friendly in that, I think is probably his best game. First half he's quite defensive, and second half he's a lot more attacking. He seemed to keep hold of the ball better. I think it was his best performance as far as pre-season is concerned. But still, with Smith with his legs and stuff like that, that's why I'm said with the Liverpool game, I'm very scared about that right side. I mean, even in when we was conceding goals, I think most of the time they was coming from the right side. So, yeah, probably another right back is probably the main thing that I've, more than any other position, I wouldn't mind an improvement on.
Yeah, and after the right back, what would be the second position that you'd cry out for?
I don't know if I'd. I don't think there's any particular place I particularly cry out for. I would you could say up front, but whatever the new player. We don't know what he's after. We done well in the pre-season game. That I thought he done well. He's certainly similar to ever. He was running around, lots of pace. I certainly think he's going to catch a few goalies off guard.
Yeah. Are you talking about Ben Winterburn?
No, I do have him as a starter as well because of the injury side of it. But no, the striker from Portugal, whatever his name is, that played the last friendly. I forgot his name now.
Just while you're looking for that, I just want to run through this comment quick, Sean.
Yeah, no.
Touching back. So Craig says, I can't see why anyone can compare him to Ryan Fraser. Fraser threw Sir Eddie under the bus by not signing that contract to keep playing. Dango is frustrated not to be playing. Big difference. Yeah, fair. That's absolutely right. And then Darren, I always have a glass half full mentality. All the negative Nancy's are not supporting the club, players or fans alike. Yeah. I'm exactly the same there, Darren. For me, it's always the club. Group A.
That's it takes me a while to learn new players' names off by heart.
You just said Malcolm's number one. Malcolm's number one is El Krupe.
Yeah, as I say, he done very well in his start and that. And yeah, he will catch a few goalies off the guard, and I almost scored it a few times that game. So yeah, striker side, I don't think it's too bad. And as I say, no Dango go up front. So yeah, it's more to maybe midfield because of the injuries. But Winterburn, I think he's shown he can step up. He had nice link-up play with Semenyo as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and Evan Nilsson got his goal this weekend against Real Sociedad as well in the friendly, last pre-season friendly, which we'll come on to in a moment just to close out the show, those two games. Just coming back on Steve's quick, Darren, he is in London having medical. Yep, that's to do with Bafo Diakite, which is fantastic. That'd be awesome to see that go through today. Chris Hubble, any news on a new third kit yet, Ollie? Annoyingly, Chris, no. I'm not sure why. I think I keep hearing and seeing stuff that it is going to be a pink shirt of sorts, but don't quote me on that. And I've got no idea why it's not out yet. So apologies.
I think everyone expected in the pre-season game, the last one, but
I have no idea why. I don't understand. Yeah. I don't want to create any speculation as to why it's not happening. So I'm going to leave that where it is, Chris. Darren, his stats for passing, complete tackles, etc., are phenomenal. Yeah, very much looking to have again a solid leader almost in that back four. I mean, even if you put him next to Zaba, crikey, that's two solid centre backs there. Craig looks a very, very promising central defender. I reckon he'll be paired with Hill unless Zaba stays. Agreed. Yeah, I think if Zaba stays, there'll be a fantastic pairing. But you're right. I think James Hill would be super suitable for him and easier to orchestrate. You know, I think Diakite is quite a voice on the pitch, and I think James Hill will work with that pretty well. Darren, Junior Krupi, Reece Doty, both capable of scoring. Yep, agreed. Reece Doty as well. We've seen that a couple of times last season. Fantastic little player coming through the ranks. Craig, no figures seem to be going around for Dango, but 3 years left on contract, and he was signed for 20 million. Yeah, I thought that I did see some figures going around, which me and Sean discussed this morning, but if they're not too public, then I won't throw them out there. Paul, I think Krupi is a long way off yet. Yeah, I think Krupi has got some time to start gelling into the team. You know, the signing and the move is still technically fresh, right? Especially for his first team experience. So I think there's more than enough time for Krupi to be involved this season, have his game time on the pitch when needed, even just to fill in as a bit of depth for some positions should we need it. But yeah, I've got a lot of time for Krupi and to see where he goes. Craig, it can't be beyond Friday. That's referencing for the away kit, the third kit, I believe. Hopefully not, Craig. Hopefully not. For Dango, I'd be looking for at least 40 million. Yeah, I think Sean said earlier 50 million. I think in my head, my
Yeah.
figure is 45. Has to be.
Yeah, 40, 50 million, but that's presuming that he is actually wanting to go. You can't force a player to stay, and I understand it reduces the value of him if he really wants to go and that. But at the end of the day, we're not going to just keep getting rid of players just because, they want to go and that. We need to make a good profit, and even 40 million, you double your money and that. He may be worth more, but yeah, sometimes you just have to take the bullet.
Yeah. Can't hold him to ransom, right? As it was mentioned before, if he wants to go and he's not happy, he's got to go. He's got to go. Otherwise, it's not going to benefit us or him. That state of mind. So that doesn't make sense in being at the squad if that's the case.
I just hope he kicks off the season and that some of the fans and that will start turning properly on his side and realise that he could have gone. He certainly's performed well enough to deserve a move and that, but he's still sticking around and doing good performances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I mean, watch this space for stuff like that. I think there's going to be more talks around Dango as we get closer to Friday and the season kicks off. I think also if Wissat ends up leaving Brentford and going to Newcastle, then again, I think there's going to be an immediate attempt to get him in straight away. So watch this space and keep up to date with it. And we'll try and keep you as informed as possible. Malcolm, Craig, I can't see beyond breakfast in Ventnor this morning. Malcolm, I keep up to date with your Facebook and your pictures, and looks like you're having a great time, mate. So, yeah, looking forward to having you back on the show and catching up about that. Malcolm also says, could Dango's agent be trying to earn some money?
Aren't they all?
It's a money game, right? I was having this conversation at the weekend. Everything around it is related to money at the minute, so it would be intriguing if it wasn't regarding money. I know that Dango's saying he doesn't necessarily want to play here at the moment, or all these other things that might be going on, but a lot of the time it's related around chuck a big sum of money at something and it'll work. So just wanted to come on quickly to the last two pre-season fixtures that we had at the weekend. I don't know if you caught either of these, Sean.
The last two, obviously one was behind closed doors, but yeah, I was at the one Dean Court and that. And yeah, the main thing is we just weren't taking our chances. I thought, Krupe, he done well in that. So he looked very Ever style. And we'll catch a few goalies off the guard and that. Very fast and that. Adams, I thought he done quite well as well. He had a good performance and that. Semenyo was very hot and cold. He had moments of brilliance, but at the same time, he's letting go. But he had good link play with Winterburn. I thought Winterburn was a standout as well. And then obviously the big save. So he done very well with the save. And
Petrovic saving a penalty, right? From
that was a very good. And the way he made himself big on the rebound and that, put him off for the second hit and that. Well, that was really good. So that's a good sign of that. So there are some positives there. The main worry that has been for a lot of the season, even last season, is the finishing. A bit depressing that the first game we all get to see properly at Dean Court is a 0-0. It's written in the stars, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even as you said, even though it was a 0-0, there was still some things happening in the game, right? There was still some standout moments, some standout players, and a penalty saved. So there's definitely been worse 0-0 pre-season friendlies. Yeah. Good. Petrovic and Traffert were excellent, Malcolm says.
Yeah.
And Darren agrees. I agree, Malcolm. Traffert has impressed immensely. And Malcolm responds, Semenyo and Traffert linking up well could be a pattern for the season. Yeah, I'm excited for some of the players that we've got at the moment. Friday is, as mentioned hundreds of times already, Sean, is lining up to be a fantastic. In my eyes, it's going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be explosive. It's going to be everything that you want from the first starting game of the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, what's your score prediction?
Oh, do I have to? Let's be optimistic. 1-1.
1-1. And interesting because ever since a few weeks ago, I've been 2-2.
Ah.
Been 2-2 for probably about 3 weeks now.
Talk to yourself for 1 minute. I'm just about delivery.
Yeah, sure. Darren, 3-2 in the chat. That's very optimistic. But I love it. Anyone else who has any more input on this, by all means, please do leave comments. For a Monday morning, I know it's not been as long as usual, but it's going to be a heavy week of shows. We've got some good things coming, so please do watch this space. Running through some of these comments now, just making sure we don't miss them before the end. If we can take chances created, you're correct, Darren. Malcolm going for 2-2 as well, Ollie. Nice, love it. I think that's a strong result if we get that. But look, Sean, really appreciate you joining me again on a Monday.
No worries.
That everything is good with you and you have a great day. Everyone in the chat and everyone watching, thank you again for joining. And look, enjoy the rest of your week. Up the cherries, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
Cheers.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.